First of all academic commencements like this one are a celebration of pageantry, and Yale does it very well. I enjoyed the beautiful colors. I think what's really wonderful is that it marks this big milestone for the people who are graduating, regardless of whether it's an undergraduate or a graduate degree. It's a significant moment in their lives, and it's wonderful to participate in this, and of course to be a recipient of an honorary degree from such a distinguished institution means a great deal to me personally, especially considering I was born in Yale Hospital nearly 70 years ago. And so this is a big circle return for me and a great celebration of my own life in this part of the world. I had a liberal education at another institution, Stanford University, and we were required in those years to take something called Western civilization. And although it didn't contemplate as much as it probably should have of the Eastern philosophy, it has been an invaluable tool for someone like me. I've been concentrated on the technology world for many, many years, but you can't appreciate the meaning and impact of technology without a much broader understanding of history, literature, sociology, psychology, and the economy and the way in which people interact with each other. Liberal educations give you this broad capability to adapt, accommodate, and understand and analyze what's going on in the world around you. You cannot do this solely by focusing on science and technology, although I hope you can appreciate that my world is filled with science and technology and engineering, and it's a very important part of my life. But I think when you step back, you must appreciate how important it is, this rich exposure to the liberal arts. I like the notion of signal-to-noise ratio in the presence of vast quantities and increasing amounts of information. In a sense, the computer has created the problem for us. It has allowed us not only to create information, but to analyze it, preserve it, to distribute it, and to absorb it. The solution may be hiding in the problem, because computers and software also offer an opportunity to help analyze that which we are interested in and to select from this vast and growing quantity of content the things which are relevant and important to us. And that will vary from one individual to another, it will vary with the task at hand, the ideas that are being pursued. I do think, though, that we have a serious challenge ahead to try to keep software keeping pace with this rapid growth of content. I'm still fairly confident that we can make machines that will help us and become our associates. We see this as artificial intelligence methods become more and more effective and more powerful. One of my colleagues, Ray Kurzweil, who recently joined Google and who's written many books on this subject, wrote one which recently was released called How to Create a Mind. And he's speaking very deeply of how the brain works and seeking, I think, to emulate its functionality based in software and hardware. And although we might differ on how fully a computer will be able to emulate the way the human brain functions, there's no question in my mind that we have software now which is far more advanced than it was 40 or 50 years ago. So as we look towards the 21st century unfolding, I think we will have computers that become part of our environment. I'm wearing Google Glass. Google Glass is a computer. It is hearing what I am hearing, it is seeing what I am seeing, and it is participating in my activities moment to moment. It becomes possible for that software to become a helper for me, to literally be an interpreter, to be a discoverer of information, to augment what's going on in the world around me with information I might not have. So I see this as the beginning of a very, very interesting and creative partnership between the artificial world of intelligence and the natural world. I think back just to the 20 years of these students' lives. They have never lived in a world that didn't have internet. They have lived through the transition from the 20th to the 21st century. They have seen some of the worst things that can happen to humanity. Not only natural disasters, but man-made disasters. And so they are entering into the rest of their lives with this very mixed array of experiences. If there were anything I were to tell any of them, it would be to be prepared for things to change. To recognize that you cannot really plan a career or a lifetime. The best you can do is to be prepared for opportunity, to recognize it when it comes, and to accept the possibility of risk. When you're young, you can afford to take risks. In fact, there's some young students that I work with who are too young to know you can't do that, so they go out and they do it. And probably the most telling example of this sort of interaction of, let me say, old and young, when I'm at Google, often I'll have a young person come to me and say, why don't we do X for some value of X? And I will think and say, oh, we tried that 25 years ago and it didn't work. Then I have to remind myself there's a reason it didn't work 25 years ago, and that reason may no longer be valid. So let's re-examine and reconsider X and see whether it's timely to do that, or maybe we should even do 10X because it's possible. So this is a century of exploration and invention that the students are going to have the fun of living through. They also face some really hard problems that we have left them, global warming being one of the most serious ones, availability of fresh water. They are going to have to live through that, and some of them are going to solve those problems. I wish them well.